I did get a new hat. Thank you for asking. Yeah, it's I actually went and
Pretty
got it
ugly.
customized.
Oh,
So
really?
no, it's great.
Okay,
So
that's
new
actually
angel
pretty
hat.
cool. That's actually
So I
pretty
know
cool.
I know those listening audio wise can't see it, but I went and I got Otani's kanji signature on it. So it's actually the
Hmm.
Japanese characters with 17 on it, and
Yeah.
yeah, super
Yeah,
nice.
I'm not an Angels fan, but I like Otani, so I will give you
It's
the benefit
super
of the doubt for
nice.
that hat.
Thank you. Yeah, no, it's been a long day. I went and I got the hat, and then I was very upset with myself this morning. I was like, why can't I be 6'6" and talented and athletic? I don't know if you heard about the stud from Texas, the high schooler, Quinn Ewers.
Hmm.
So he's the dude you've been seeing all over social media. He's a quarterback throwing it around. In Texas, so the NIL rules, those all dropped. Texas is saying, okay, college you can do it, high school you can't. So do you know what this kid goes and does? He says, I don't think I want to go to high school.
High school at all.
He wants to forego his senior year and then go to Ohio State where he's already committed. And there's already lined up for about $800,000
Yeah,
worth of money that he's going to make.
that's ridiculous. And he's not even out of high school yet.
Dude, you've got to see this kid. He's got a mullet. He's got swag. He's just, I can't imagine being 17 and going, I want to make money. And the state's going, no. And I go, well, no to you. And then you just go and you make almost $1 million. Like,
uh,
welcome to Our Factual Opinion. We have been gone for quite some time, but back to your favorite podcast where your co-hosts, Zachary Nikolai and Tyler McGee, talk all things sports, where we give our factual opinion. Tyler, it's great to be back with you, dude.
yes, sir. It's been a minute since we talked. I mean, we were texting, but it's been a minute since we've been, I say, face to face over the screen.
Virtually face to face, yes. It's
Yes,
been
exactly.
you've been blowing up my phone, not friendly, might I add. It has been more Bucks win, ha ha ha, you're done.
Uh-huh.
It's been more
Bucks
about
and
you
six,
rubbing
baby.
in all your right picks and how I've been wrong probably this entire show, but
Mm-hmm.
it's okay because I love hearing from you, and I think it's fun.
Hey, we'll see a bounce back. We'll see a bounce back.
Well, yeah, a
Hopefully,
bounce
for
back.
you at least. I don't really care because if I'm right, then I'm cool with it. If you're wrong, I'm cool with it too.
We're going back into football season, baby. So I'm gonna
You'll
you're gonna
probably get a
see
lot
this
more of
show.
those right.
Damn right I will. Talking about basketball, though,
Hmm.
actually, let's hop right into our first segment, Second Take. The hit ESPN show, First Take. Freddie Coleman is filling in on the show, and he came out and he said, I want to build a franchise around Giannis, not Luka. And
And I
you know
know
me,
how
Tyler.
much you love Luka.
Yeah.
I already know how much you love Luka. You think he's basically the best in the league already.
He's Luca's the girl that you saw in middle school, and you were like, you know what? I think she's awesome. And then high school comes and everyone starts noticing her, and you're like, well, I always liked her. I always loved Luca. I loved him before the draft. People were talking, they're like, he's really slow. Like, you can't get him. I'm like, he's efficient. He's not slow. He's great with his feet. Of course, he's not fast.
Hmm.
He's not
Yeah,
going to
he's not the most
run you on a
athletic guy out
40.
there, but
No, but he's efficient with his feet. He's a great shooter. He's 22.
he's an
He went
amazing
out to the
passer
Olympics
too.
for his first game, dude.
Dropped
First game for
48.
the Olympics. Like
Ridiculous,
you
dude.
just can't. KD's
Man,
out here dropping 10.
I'm 22 and I'm out here dropping 16 listeners in our Spotify.
Yeah, dude. I played basketball with you. Sometimes we struggle getting the ball, let
Yeah.
alone
I mean, you
shooting it.
basically
Like
broke my finger one time. Remember that?
I know, and
Broke.
that's the second I was mad at my parents. I was like, why could I have not been athletically gifted? But so Freddie went and he said, I would start a franchise around Giannis, not Luca. And it's really interesting to me because he mentioned basketball, obviously. He was like, yeah, we just saw what Giannis did. He's great and everything.
Hmm.
And then besides the finals, he stopped talking basketball and he started talking kind of guys want to play with Giannis because he's not a diva. He's not gonna, run a coach out. We've already seen Luka do that. And he started talking, I don't want to say intangibles, but it was pretty much just Giannis is a nicer guy and a funner guy to be around. That's why I'd rather put him. And it wasn't very basketball oriented. And so
Hmm.
I guess that makes sense. You're like, people want to be around nice and fun guys. I think Luka's nice and fun, and it's like, if you want to call him a diva because he gets upset over calls, I mean, then 95% of the league is a diva.
I mean,
Everyone from
95% of the league
LeBron,
is a diva when it comes to not getting their foul calls. Everyone's always complaining. Everyone's always yelling, hands in the air. You know what I mean? So,
dude, Kobe did it, Braun did it, everybody was doing it. So it's
hmm.
like, if you're upset because you say he's a diva because he's crying over stuff and he had an issue with the front office, I mean, I, coach left. Okay. I don't know how much of it's Luka. I don't know how much of it's Mark Cuban. I love Mark Cuban, but as we've seen, Cowboys and football, it's like when you have an owner who's super involved, not everybody likes it. And
Yeah.
so, I mean, I just don't see why you wouldn't build around the 22-year-old. So Luka's younger than Giannis. Luka plays a position where you get the ball. Like, you have to feed it to Giannis. And don't get me wrong, he's dominant when he has it,
Hmm.
but it's like you have to force it. There are times where you can actually take Giannis out of the game because he's not a shooter, while Luka, he's the one winning you the games. You give him the ball, he's out there going 22 straight points, either assisting on or scoring. And it's like, Luka's the best thing. He is the best young player we have seen since LeBron.
Yeah, I agree.
And I think he's better than
He's
LeBron when he was
insane.
that age.
He maybe, but I mean, I just feel like to one of your points that people didn't hear earlier is he's doing this at 22 years old, and he's giving it and he's dishing it out against players like Kawhi and Paul George in their playoffs. Now, granted, he got bounced in the first round. He's only 22, but I mean, this season it looked like it could have been the deep run season. You know what I mean? He had them up against the ropes. They were up 2-0. Very unprecedented series, by the way, where the home team didn't win until what was it, Game 7, right? When the Clippers finally,
Yeah, it was
yeah, it was weird,
anything
but
that involves the Clippers is weird.
but I kind of have to agree. I'd start my franchise with Luka too. This is a player that, like I said, he's 22 years old and he is just giving the league havoc. We haven't seen anything like this. He's good almost everywhere. Granted, his defense isn't necessarily the best, but when you're giving 100% on offense, it's hard to go. You know what I mean? And he's not the most athletic guy, but he can shoot, he can pass. His basketball IQ is really high. And here's the thing: I guess, the argument of saying you don't want to start your team like around a diva, blah blah blah. But like, he's 22. I mean, he's not fully mature yet. Obviously, he's still got a lot to learn basketball wise. You saw in the Clippers series in the fourth quarter, he kind of struggled a little bit. He was a little ball dominant, just dribbling at the top of the key a lot and then not really doing anything until like the last 10 seconds. And they didn't have great possessions. But those are the things you learn as you go on. And we've seen players mature and grow. I mean, it's, I understand he's kind of gone through a coach already. And now all of a sudden the GM's gone. And you start to wonder, is it Luka? Is it the front office? Is it both? A lot of it is just media. I don't think the media really ever really knows what's going on within some of these teams. A lot of it is quote unquote leaks. Who knows who's actually leaking this stuff? But at the end of the day, the way we've seen Luka play, he's set up to be the next big thing, and he's only in his really early 20s. Like, no disrespect to Giannis, the accolades he has are amazing already. Two-time MVP, Defensive Player of the Year. Now he's a Finals MVP. He's a champion, Most Improved Player of the Year, countless Defensive and Offensive Player of the Year awards. But man, what we've seen from Luka is just so exciting right now, and it's fun. They're both fun to watch, but I agree. I think you got to start with Luka.
Yeah, Giannis, don't get me wrong now. I looked like a Giannis hater in the past. I love Giannis.
Oh,
I think he's
you know
great.
who I am too. I'm a huge Giannis fan.
Yeah,
I love him.
I love big men. It's just guys like Shaq and Tim and these guys that were great back then. They can't dominate games late when you're down. And that's what sucks about today's NBA. It's, you give me a guy like Luka, he's taking you places, and I want to point on something before we move on that you said. We saw Luka get bounced in the first round. I think this playoffs has taught us, and I said this to you on an earlier episode, you need a second guy. And they
Oh
thought
yeah.
Porzingis was that guy. He's not.
Yeah, like I said, that was the big issue. It was Luka being very ball dominant towards the
Yeah.
end of those games where they knew we just double, maybe even triple team this guy, get the ball out of his hands, your offense isn't going to be as efficient. So he needs that second piece. I mean, Giannis really needed that. Chris Middleton struggled in past playoffs, but this postseason we really saw him thrive like we knew he could. And then that addition to Drew Holiday playing on the defensive end is we really saw a complete Bucs team. Granted, they did catch a couple breaks, obviously. You know, that Nets team took them 7 basically with a hobbled James Harden and then Kyrie getting injured, but you just see the difference in teams. Even the Hawks. I mean, a big thing is the Luka Trae Young debate. Like, oh, Trae Young just took his team to the Eastern Conference Finals. Luka has been bounced already twice in the first round. Granted, I still think that Hawks is way better team built around Trae Young, but we see what these players can do with teams around them, and Luka just needs a little more. I like Tim Hardaway Jr. as like a third option. He's a knockdown shooter. They need that second option for sure.
Yeah. And I'll be the old guy in the room. The East is easier than the West. I mean, I don't see Trey
It
going up
is
against Steph and Clay, and I don't see him going up
true.
against Braun and eight. Like,
I will say though, I still don't think that Hawks team should have beat the 76ers. I think 76ers had more talent. Hawks played better as a team.
yeah, that's basketball. It frustrates you. Let's go on to a
Yeah.
better sport that I like.
The sport that Zach says he's gonna out pick me in terms of his factual opinion. We'll move over to football. On ESPN, we have Get Up. I always struggle to say his name. Dan Orlovsky, I think is how you say it. I don't
Orlovsky.
remember. Orlovsky, there you go. But anyways, in our segment, Sit Down. So, today they were talking about which teams in the NFC have the best chance at beating Tom Brady and the Bucs. And Dan Orlovsky said the Washington football team. And I'll be honest, I thought that was okay. It wasn't stupid. Okay, the Washington football team, they have great offensive pieces and they have an amazing, one of the best defenses in the league right now. But you can have a great defense, but I just don't think you can't. You have to have a good quarterback. I love Fitzmagic, don't get me wrong, but Fitzmagic is your quarterback that you pick up. He plays there for a year because you need a filler quarterback, and then he moves on. Ryan Fitzpatrick is not going to be the guy who beats Tom Brady, okay? And I know I know you're going to say it. Well, Nick Foles did it, but okay. No, Ryan Fitzpatrick is not going to be the dude. I love Fitzmagic. He's not going to beat Tom Brady. Just I'm telling you that. The Bucs have pretty much the exact same team going into this next season. He's not going to beat Tom Brady.
So let's get this straight. That division, the NFC least, is awful. I think 9 wins that division.
Yeah, I mean
So
we saw it what this season. They had 8 wins I think it was and they won.
yeah, so now with 17 games, a
Yeah.
losing record can win that division.
Yeah,
So that's what I'm
exactly.
most excited to see. On record, I want it to be known. I think the Cowboys are going to be the first team in history to go 8-1. They're going to find a way to be
8 and
500
1.
again. They will find a way. But so you look at Washington, and they have a great team. I think they did a
Yeah,
great job
they
of
really do.
building. uh, there's
Nothing.
three
I
things you need.
love Scary Terry. I'm a big Antonio Gibson guy. He's gonna be up there, and their defense is amazing. But go ahead. Sorry.
There's 3 things that you need when building a football team. You need someone
Hmm.
to throw the ball. You need somebody to protect the guy who's throwing the ball on his blind side. So if he's a righty or left tackle, if he's a lefty or right tackle.
Hmm.
And then on the defensive side, you need somebody who's going to make the guy throwing the ball uncomfortable.
Hmm.
And if you look at it, I think,
And they got all of those, but Ryan Fitzpatrick.
well, so Washington has a great line. They're the best front seven
Yes.
in football. I'd argue
Hmm.
that. Their defense is amazing. Offensive pieces, you mentioned it. They have, I'd say, 2 good receivers, above average receivers. I like their running backs. I think running backs more and more now are getting better out of the college level.
Hmm.
I think they're just so quick now. It's really impressive. Fitz magic. So in the clip, it is the NFC. So they're not focusing on the AFC. They're looking at the
Yes,
NFC
yes, the
teams. And I
NFC.
think, yeah. So I think when you look at it, I don't think the Packers, because I think with Aaron Rodgers, they've been very finesse. I think they've always been finesse. Ever since
Yeah.
Matt LaFleur came, they have been a little more ground and pound. But I've always felt like their team is very West Coast, even though
Hmm.
they're,
And
you
even
know,
right now,
they're
they're in that weird situation where we don't know exactly how they'll be with Aaron Rodgers coming back. We don't know the locker room like sense and how it is. We don't know how some might be excited, some might be like, oh, he kind of could be a
yeah,
deviant. I don't know how they're seeing it, but I get what you're saying
yeah.
too.
Yeah. So you look at those teams, I don't think there's many tough teams. So you look at the NFC East, absolutely nobody except Washington, I think, can stop the Bucs. Nobody
Hmm.
in their own division. I mean, the Saints are on the decline, and I'm a Saints fan. It's tough right now,
I,
especially
you
everything
know
going on with
what?
Michael Thomas.
Just on the side, yeah, that's tough. I want to see Jameis Winston thrive, though. I've been wanting to see him play again. He got the LASIK eye surgery. I just want to see
You
it
want to see him
happen.
eat some dubs?
Yes, I want to see him eat those dubs.
Oh God, I hope he does well. I really do.
Hmm.
But you look
So
at
do I.
that. Atlanta's not going to do nothing. Panthers. I hope Sam Darnold does stuff for them.
So
Him
do
and
I. I
Christian
believe he's
McCaffrey, I think, are going to be
talented,
fun.
and I kind of want to see him out of that Jets team because the Jets are poverty franchise.
Yeah, good luck, Zach Wilson. I
Hmm.
pray for you. I really do.
Got his deal though,
But you
by the
look
way.
at Yes, good for him. Last first round quarterback to do his deal.
Hmm.
But you look at the whole NFC, and it's just there's no team that really. There are talented teams in the NFC. Obviously, you got your Rams and your Cardinals and your Niners and whatnot, and
And you
Seahawks,
just
of
named
course.
one whole division right there, the best division in the league.
They are the best division in the league.
Oh
But
yeah.
it's like you look at them, and I don't see the closest one I could see is I would say the Niners because of their defense, but I don't think the offense can keep up with them. I don't know what I'm going to get out of Jimmy G or Trey Lance. And then you look
Hmm.
at the Rams, and it's like that Cam Akers injury that scares me. So it's like I can't put them there. So that's why I think Washington. And you don't always need a great quarterback. Nick
Yeah,
Foles
I
went and won
mean,
a Super Bowl. Joe Flacco. I think sometimes you just need him to get hot.
even Peyton Manning when he was on the Broncos, he didn't have a great, you know what I mean, like the best of
Yeah,
seasons, but they had a fantastic defense.
yeah.
But
Peyton also had time off. Sometimes you just need a quarterback to get hot, though. That's all you need.
yeah, listen, I agree. I think they'll make the playoffs. I think their defense will carry them. Fitzmagic has his hot games. Like we've seen him pop off. We've seen him do great things. I don't think he's that consistent quarterback that leads you through an entire season. I'd give the Rams the edge, not the edge over the Bucs. I'd give the Rams the edge over the Washington football team. I understand that Cam Akers injury could be really brutal on the run game. It's hard to replace players like that. I mean, we saw his coming out party last year. It seemed like he was gonna really do big things this year. Looked like it. It looked like it. That Achilles injury is gonna be tough, but I would still say the Rams. I say we because I'm probably pretty biased here, anyways. Uh, great defense. Our offense looks like it improved now with Matt Stafford, who I think you and I agree is a really good quarterback and kind of underrated just because he's been on that Lions team. And it'll be interesting to see how he is now on a team that this team is probably playoff slash Super Bowl or bust type of team because I feel like the Rams are all in right now. But I feel like I'd have to give it to the Rams. I just don't think Fitzpatrick is going to be that player like Stafford who's going to lead you through the season. And I just don't know if they'll be able to keep up with them on offense, keep up with Tom
In
Brady.
Fitz,
I mean,
we trust.
who can keep up with Tom Brady though? You know what I mean? Eli Manning.
E- Eli, yeah. The one thing that can't beat Brady beat Manning, and that's father time.
Yeah.
Let's go on to baseball. So MLB deadline, trade deadline is coming up. It's an exciting day in sports. So today is July 29th. It's a
There
Thursday.
is
We
a
got the
lot
NBA
going on
draft
with
tonight.
sports. Mm-hmm.
NBA draft going on tonight. The Olympics are going on. That is
Mm-hmm.
crazy. Everything happening with swim to gymnastics. things are insane.
Hmm.
Watching every minute of it, Olympics and whatnot. Going to watch the NBA draft tonight. What's
Yeah.
really keeping me excited though is this MLB trade deadline. And so you have teams like the Dodgers who were World Series favorites coming into the season. The Yankees always are for some reason, and I still don't know why. But you got guys like the Dodgers. And what's really interesting is everything going on with Trevor Bauer. I do
Hmm.
not believe he's going to put a Dodger uniform on again.
It
I do
doesn't
not
sound
think he will
like
ever
any of
play.
them even
No,
want him on the team anymore either.
no, I do not see him playing in the league ever again. I liked him as a player. I did. It's just we got to leave it up to
Hmm.
judicial and the MLB at this point. But so you lose a
Yeah.
pitcher, they still have good. That's what bugs me about the Dodgers. It's they always have great players, pitching wise, relief wise,
Hmm.
batting wise. Farm system's always great, and they always find a way to lose. And so it's like
Yeah.
I don't know how much more help you need, but let's lay out some scenarios. People are calling for Max Scherzer
Hmm.
to be a Dodger. And by people, I mean probably Dodger fans. But
Yeah.
what's
I mean,
interesting,
just right. Dodgers are going through a lot of injuries right now too. It's tough to see the way they're playing, and I feel like they just haven't come together yet just because of all these injuries. But keep going, yeah. Dodgers fans
dude,
really want Max Scherzer.
Mookie's out, Seager's out, Cody looks bad. I'll give you this for Cody though. He went and overthrew the third baseman by I'd say about
A
1,800 feet.
mile.
Yeah, it was bad. And they asked him after it. He said, "I threw it too high," and it's like, yeah, you
That's a
did.
pretty honest answer.
Did he's it was a more honest press conference than maybe even Aaron Rodgers, and he was pretty raw.
And we'll get to
Uh,
that.
oh, we will talk about that. But so you look at it, they have all these injured pieces. A lot of people saying Dodgers are linked to Max Scherzer, but not only that, they're also maybe in talks with the Cubs about Kimbrel,
Hmm.
Chris Bryant. And
Hmm.
then a new name I've heard recently is I don't know how true this one is or how able this is.
How realistic?
Trey Turner.
Yeah.
It's another one I've been hearing. So I don't see Trey leaving, but I'll tell you what, Dodgers have been so willing to spend money. And when you win, it makes it easier. I can see them somehow finding a way to flip a couple guys for Scherzer and
Hmm.
then going to the Cubs and saying, "Hey, we'll take
Do you
Kimbrel."
really think
That
they can
way,
get both? It's a
I
fire sale
did.
going on
It's
right now.
LA.
Yeah, I mean,
It's LA.
if if anyone could get done the Dodgers, I feel like they're always making moves, and it's just I feel like they haven't had a trade deadline go by where they haven't made a big move within the last couple years.
Yeah. But to make it even more exciting,
Hmm.
apparently the rest of the NL, my bad, we're no longer in football. The NL West is in on Scherzer, actually. So we got
Yeah,
Padres, Giants, and the Dodgers all in talks. Padres, this is what I love about baseball. And sometimes football and basketball fans are like, how can the Padres have four all stars in their infield? There's no salary cap.
yeah.
You can get
That's
whoever
why
you want.
the Yankees are good all the time. They had so much money, and it's New York.
Yeah.
Everyone wants to play in New York, and
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Speaking of New York, they went and got Joey Gallo.
Joey Gallo, yeah, big
Good for him
lefty.
getting out of Texas. The one thing I am sad about is that beard is going to go. New York has that policy about clean trim. It's going to be sad to see that thing go, but no,
It's
good
weird
for
that's a thing
Gallo. I
still.
think, dude, he's going to look good. He's going to look good. I'm telling you, facial wise, getting rid of that
Yeah.
thing, and with the bat, it's hitter friendly park. Angels. Let's go to the other side of LA because I don't
Oh,
know. I want
LA,
to.
Anaheim. It's not LA.
Yeah,
It's Anaheim, Orange County. It's not even LA County. But keep going.
we were originally the California Angels. We owned the entire state. Let's
Okay.
take a backpedal on that. So no secret, Angels suck at pitching. So to address that, what we did is we went and drafted 20 pitchers.
Every single draft pick.
We said that's not enough. Let's try to trade for some. So right now, talks are that they may be having Andrew Heaney on the move. There has been some discussions about Cobb. What really sucks is
Randall
our
Cobb?
farm system. Randall Cobb. No, Randall Cobb already got traded to the Packers. This no, the pitcher Cobb for the Angels. What
Hmm.
really sucks though is the Dodgers when they want to trade, they have guys in their
Yeah.
farm system or on their team. They can flip. The Angels, there's nobody that we have that people are willing to get.
Hmm.
That's the frustrating part. Like Andrew Heaney, like I like him. He's a starter in this league. He's not a number one. I think he's
Hmm.
maybe a number three, four.
I mean, yeah,
What are you going to get from him?
the Angels really don't really have a number one. I mean, Otani's your number one, but let's face it, like you don't really want Otani to be your number one. You know what I mean? It's not. I'm not saying he's bad or anything. It's just I
Oh,
feel
he's
like you
great.
don't
I
want.
don't want to
No,
hear
yeah,
any slander.
he's fantastic. I love Otani. I love him, but I just feel like you don't want him to be your number one pitcher and your number one hitter. You know what I mean? You need. I don't know.
Yeah, he's going to be our number two hitter once Trout comes back. I really hope that people are going to be able to stop walking Otani because Trout's going to be behind him. Dude, that lineup's going to be scary when Rendon
Yeah.
comes back, when Otani comes back, when Trout comes back, when Upton finally finds a swing after coming
Hmm.
back. We just don't have
And
any
then
offensive pieces
yeah,
to
I mean
trade.
it's awesome because you guys are gonna have a great offensive lineup and then end up losing 10-7 because you guys can't strike anyone out.
I wish we would lose 10-7, dude. I went to that Angels game where they played the Rockies and we lost 12-3, and I was like,
Oh,
really? But no. So, trade deadline summary. If you guys zoned out, Dodgers, a lot of talk. Don't know if they're going to get anybody. Keep an eye out on the Padres. I think that's going to be a big move.
yeah.
And the Angels, if you guys are listening, you know what? Go to the Nationals. Go and trade them Joe Adell. I've been hearing a lot of good things about him. He came to the show and I was underwhelmed. I like the kid, but let's build a team around Otani and Trout to win now. So let's go trade him. Let's go trade Heaney. And then you know what? Let's go trade in some Disneyland annual pass holders, free parking, assigned Trout and Otani bobblehead and ball.
Hmm.
Go to Washington and say, hey,
Hey, maybe
give
get a
us
Mickey
Scherzer.
Mouse sign too. Maybe get a signed
Yeah, yeah,
autograph from Mickey Mouse and see what
yeah.
happens.
That's what we're gonna do. We're gonna bring back Walt Disney. We got to do something, man. I just want pitching. I'm good with one guy. If we can get two, I might go into a coma. So, Angels, as usual, I hope that they are buyers. They probably will either remain stagnant or start to sell. Dodgers want to be buyers, don't know what's going to happen. And that NL West is going to be crazy.
Gonna be fun to watch. It's gonna be an exciting end second half of the season, moving into the playoffs. We'll see what happens. I feel like, I don't know where the Padres are at in terms of they want to go all in now. They have a lot of young talent, but I feel like with the positioning they're in, they probably want to go all in. So, Slam Diego, LA, we'll see what happens.
That's going to be a fun playoff series. Speaking of top teams in the league, so we already know for baseball, it seems as if Padres, Giants, Dodgers, that is definitely like top 5 or 10 teams in the league.
Hmm.
What are we thinking football wise, Tyler? I know our man Colin said some stuff.
Yeah, he had a list going in to basically training camp. So we'll talk about the top 10 list on our segment here for where Colin was wrong. He had a list basically going in, like he had a list of his top 10 teams going into training camp. It wasn't necessarily like top 10 teams of the NFL, but it was just top 10 teams going into training camp just the other day. Training camp, started for teams and teams are starting to get underway. And so we thought it'd be fun if Zach and I made our own top 10 list, maybe made some compromise, and then tried to come together and agree on a top 10 list together. So, Zach, do you want to go off on your top 10 first?
Yeah, so we'll go together, Ty. So you and
Okay.
I are both intelligent men. We both understand that the Buccaneers are the best team going into training camp. So the Bucs
Yep.
are our number one team each.
Defending champs. Tom Brady's back. They're looking good. So,
Exactly. Number two, no brainer, the Chiefs. Some
Mm-hmm.
people would say that they're number one. I think that offensive line did get better. I just hope that they're able to put something together before they start having to pay all the speed on that offense. So, number
Yeah.
two, Chiefs, we are in agreement. Number
Yes.
three, our intelligence continues with the Buffalo Bills. Josh Allen is going to be amazing. The Bills didn't need to sign another receiver. Instead, they went and
Nope.
got Emmanuel Sanders. And
Yep.
Sanders has been saying, I've been in the league for 12 years. He played with greats like
Yeah.
Drew Brees. And he said Josh Allen made a throw I've never seen in 12 years. So Sanders is
Yeah.
seeing great stuff. Josh Allen's
Great
great. That
veteran,
defense,
great veteran wide receiver to bring in. Still got Stephon Diggs. That defense is still looking good. Josh Allen now has another season under his belt. I think I think they're Super Bowl contenders.
it, Bills number three. So we're
Mm-hmm.
both there. Now, this is where we start to disagree, Tyler. I'll
Yes.
give everyone a heads up before we continue. Tyler and I do not agree on any, or do not disagree on any teams in the top 10.
Mm-hmm.
We both have the same teams in the top 10. It is just
Yes.
the order in
A
which we
little bit different
disagree.
order.
And
And maybe
so,
some
and
bias in for me on this next pick.
there's a lot of bias for Tyler. I try to take two steps back, and then when I realize I can't see the list anymore, I take one step forward and then start to get a clearer picture of what's going on in training camp. So, number four team going into training camp for me, got to be the Cleveland Browns. I think they are loaded with talent. I believe in Baker more than the next person. I think Odell coming back is not a distraction. I don't think he is one of those me guys or I guys who's always begging for the ball. I think him and Jarvis can live in harmony. I think Nick Chubbs is great, and I think that defense is ready to roll. So I would put
Yeah.
the Browns at four.
Yeah, I mean, I don't necessarily disagree with you. I think the Browns loaded up with talent. I know people were saying last offseason when not offseason, last season when OBJ tore his ACL, they're like, "Oh, man, the Brown like Baker looks better now that he doesn't have to throw the ball to him." I think that's just a load of crap. Just tarnishing on OBJ, who's a great wide receiver, and I'm excited to see him back. I think they will be clicking this year. I agree. But like I said, I got my Rams at four, baby. You got Matt Stafford. Our offense looks just as great. I'm excited to see hopefully a healthy Cooper Cup throughout the entire season. Our defense, we still got Aaron Donald. We still got Jalen Ramsey. Looking good.
Yeah, the Rams definitely do look good. They're at
Mm-hmm.
six for me, but right in front of the Rams, I have the Ravens also sticking in that same division with the Browns. Look, man, Lamar Jackson, some people don't like him because he's unconventional. Like,
I love
that's
Lamar
exactly
Jackson.
why people, yeah, dude, Lamar's a good dude. He's a winner. Like,
Mm-hmm.
people don't like Elon Musk because he's, built a little different and his tweaks are kind of weird. Like, no, he's a bright dude. He knows how to run a company. Like, just because you're different doesn't mean it's bad. And so Lamar, love him as a leader, love him
Mm-hmm.
as a player, love him as a human being. And I'll tell you what, my opinion means nothing. I have trust in the guy. I
I
think
thought
he's
it was
great.
factual, bro.
It, just because it's factual, apparently people don't care about facts sometimes. But for him to get that entire organization, not just the players, not just the front office, but the coaches, everything together to believe in him and to build
Mm-hmm.
a team around him and to get, Greg Roman, the offensive coordinator, a running, like centralized offensive coordinator
Mm-hmm.
to be there and just completely say, yeah, this is who we are. I mean, the Ravens are always going to be physical on defense, but you look at the Ravens offensively and defensively, they're five for me.
See, I kind of disagree with you. I feel like they didn't make the necessary moves going into this offseason. They need wide receivers. His best target is his tight end Andrews, which isn't bad. And then you got Marquise Brown, and he's just undersized. He's quick, but he didn't make, you know, the impact that people thought he might have this upcoming season. I just feel like they didn't bring in any wide receiver talent around him, which would be useful. Lamar Jackson doesn't have the best arm. Everyone really knows that. He doesn't have the best arm. great runner, which makes him a threat because you don't know if they're going to run or pass. But I just feel like they needed to bring in wide receivers for me to put them up on the list, and I didn't really see that this offseason.
Who and who do you have at 5?
I got the Browns. The Browns are at 5 for me for all the reasons I said before. Really talented. I think that OBJ and Baker Mayfield click this offseason. I mean, click this upcoming season. They made some good offseason moves for their defense, and they just look really well rounded. Probably got the most talent on a team in the NFL.
The most talent.
Yeah, in terms of just their running backs are great, wide receivers
Yeah.
are great. You know what I mean? Like they have the best back, like Kareem Hunt, Nick Chubb. No one's got a better backfield than that.
I'll tell you what, they got depth.
They got
They,
depth.
they, they have depth. That's where
Yeah.
they have the most talent. And the team that I think is the second most talented, starting wise, is at my number 6. It's your LA Rams. I
Yeah, I
I have the
think
Rams at 6. Cam Akers getting hurt. Akers, sorry. That I think hurts them. They
yeah.
went and do not have Malcolm Brown anymore. I thought he was a great running back for them last year. It hurts to lose that. We saw kind of when Todd Gurley wasn't really all there, how
Hmm.
much that hurt that offense. So I think a running back's
Yeah.
huge for that team. But no, I think the Rams, they're very talented starter wise. The thing that makes me put the Browns above them, though, is
Hmm.
exactly what you said, the depth. So with Cam getting hurt, there's no Kareem Hunt to step up. It's going to be some rookie
Yeah.
probably.
It
So
well, right now it's sounding like it's possibly Daryl Henderson, maybe sign someone. Todd Gurley's a free agent. That's not the route we're gonna be going. But yeah. So for 6 for me, I got the Green Bay Packers, Aaron Rodgers, baby. A lot of questions, ifs, what if, what's gonna happen with Aaron Rodgers in Green Bay. He's back for another season. Who knows how much longer he'll be back for that. But I just feel like when you got Aaron Rodgers on a team, you can't count them out. And Aaron Rodgers, football IQ, dude's a genius, Jeopardy host. I don't know how many other NFL quarterbacks have that on their resume. But yeah, I mean, I think I just have to go with the Packers. I think Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams, they're hungry. They posted that last dance picture on their Instagram, got some backlash for it. Whatever. But I got the Packers at 6.
they want to be Chicago so badly. Number 7, I still have that NFC West division, the Seahawks. Dude, I believe in Russ. Let him cook. That offense
Love
is going
Russell
to be
Wilson.
electric with him. They always find running backs. It's insane. They're really good at running the ball.
Yeah.
Now they have a solid wide receiver threat in DK Metcalf. No slight to Tyler
Great number
Lockett,
2,
but
Tyler
he's
Lockett.
not.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, he's
Number
just not a
2.
number one.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, he's number 2 for sure. He has his off nights, which is what kind of hurts. He has his days where he goes off for 100 yards, 2, 3 touchdowns, and then he has his days where he gets 2 catches and 20
two cat.
yards.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. So, no, NFC West, best division in football, as you stated. I got the
100%.
Seahawks with a great run game, great quarterback, and an above average, if not great defense at number 7.
Yeah, and at number 7, I got the Ravens. Reasons I stated earlier. I feel like their offense didn't really improve, but they're still Lamar Jackson. Like you said, they got their run centralized offense going, but I feel like you need that that deep threat, that passing threat, and I just don't feel like the Ravens really have that. Besides with Mark Andrews, but like I said, Lamar Jackson fan. I love what they're doing in Baltimore, and I got the Ravens at 7.
Packers, I got at number 8. Saw the press
Hmm.
conference. We'll talk about that. Wow.
Yep.
Uh, he's coming into this. I don't know how they're really going to gel throughout this whole season. I think the players have his back. I
Hmm.
think the coach has his back. And I hope that's enough for him because I really do like Rodgers. I just don't know if the Randall Cobb trade is going to really benefit them. I don't
Yeah.
know if there's going to be more trades throughout the season where it's just kind of like it might hurt them more than benefit them. So Packers at 8.
For me, 8, I got the Seahawks. And like we said, Russell Wilson, great offense, great defense, one of the best divisions in the league, which could honestly hurt them, could hurt the Rams. It could go either way, you know what I mean? But I got the Seahawks at 8 for pretty much all the reasons you stated earlier. Love Russell Wilson, probably top 3, top 5 quarterback in the league, like we said in one of the past episodes.
Yeah. And then 9 and 10, we both agree on. 9, we both have the Colts.
Hmm.
Dude, if Carson Wentz is cooking, that's a
He,
Super Bowl team.
yeah, like I said, I've said this a lot. Change of scenery. I think this change of scenery is going to be really good for Carson Wentz. They got a great defense. They have an established offense already. Jonathan Taylor looks like he could be promising. He looks like he could be really good. And you gotta love the Colts, man. Michael Pittman, UFC alum. Let's go.
The Colts are going to be fun. And then 10,
Yeah.
we both agree. Rounding out the NFC West, third team
Hmm.
from there, the 49ers.
Yeah.
I would put them higher if we knew what was going to happen with Trey Lance. I
Because
wasn't too high on him,
hmm
but I think Jimmy G's a winner.
kinda, yeah. I mean, I'm not a big Jimmy G hater. He's not like the best quarterback out there, but I do think the 49ers probably have one of the most well-rounded out teams in the league. And like I said, I think if they had a tier list higher of a QB than Jimmy G, they'd be a lot higher on the list. But
Like
it's
Aaron
just
Rodgers.
like Aaron Rodgers. Hey, I don't want that to happen though. I can't imagine that team with Aaron Rodgers. Don't let me think about that one. But yeah, I think they probably got one of the best teams on the list. It's just the QB's the guy who holds the ball, and I don't think Jimmy G is. You say he's a winner. I think he's a winner, but not the QB you really want to roll with for. I mean, he's a good quarterback. Don't get me wrong. It's just I just don't think he's better than really any of the quarterbacks that we have on this list here.
That's a conversation we can have another day. But I think Jimmy G's I think he's a winner. I really do. Keeping the football rolling,
Mhm.
let's go on to our debate.
Yes.
I want our debate to start out calmly.
Okay.
I want us to just RELAX. Everybody watched that press conference. I watched the entirety of it, as did you.
Mhm.
Wow. Like,
It
he
was
was raw. He was honest. You could
super honest.
tell.
It was a lot
Yeah.
more honest than I expected. I was not expecting this kind of conference where it felt like he wasn't emotional or anything. He really just laid out though, like everything he felt was laid out there. He talked about what happened after, in going into March, and then he just talked about how deep it was, and then it was just about how he felt like he wasn't getting enough respect. He wasn't getting any talks in free agency, and he feels like he should have. He's a seasoned veteran,
Yeah.
an accomplished MVP, as he said, and he just felt like he needed to be a part of more of the decisions they were making, and he just laid it all out, and it was pretty crazy.
Yeah. I had a couple takeaways from it. And
Okay.
so, number one, my love and respect for Aaron Rodgers,
Through the
way up,
roof. I feel like I
way
saw a
up.
lot of that too in the YouTube comments. People were saying, "Wow, like this guy,
He,
I
yeah.
gain a lot more respect and understanding of the situation now."
Yeah. Yeah. And so, let's do, we'll start out positive, and then I don't want
Okay.
to call them negatives. We'll kind of backtrack on it. So, to
Mhm.
me, on the low end, this felt like a very well rehearsed job interview.
Kind of
It
did.
kind of felt, yeah, it felt like he had all his resume there. When he was talking, he was like, "Hey, I have been in the locker room. I've made relationships. All I
Mhm.
wanted to do was we didn't treat veterans who left so well in the past. I wanted to come to the front office and I wanted to help them out. And
Yeah,
also,
but I
like,
also
I'm the
feel
guy who
like
has relationships. I want to help them in free agency. Wouldn't you
mhm.
want to use me? I'm the reason people come here. It's not a vacation place. People don't want to live here," which wasn't the best thing. Maybe not say that
Yeah,
about the city you play in, but still, he
yeah.
was like, "I'm the guy you should use." So on the low end, I see it as a well prepared job interview. He had his references and he had his resume, and he was
Mhm.
saying, "Don't you want to use me?" On the extreme side, it kind of felt more like a court case where everything was covered, and he was like, "Your Honor, do you not see that all I
Do you
want to do
not
was
see
help?"
what I'm going through here? Yeah,
Yeah. So it
I agree.
was, those are the two extremes.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, I agree. I did feel like it felt almost like it was rehearsed, but I honestly think you can attribute a lot of that to the intelligence of Aaron Rodgers. He seems like a really calm, he's well spoken man. Like he knows a lot. you even hear about like he just reads all the time. But I just think a lot of that you can attribute to just he said he had a lot of time to himself this offseason for his mental health, and I think he just really understands what he wants, and he really knows how he feels, and that's why it just sounded rehearsed, because I think going into this press conference he knew exactly what he wanted to say, and he pretty much executed it perfectly.
Oh yeah, look, much like on the field, he just
Yeah,
executes to perfection.
exactly,
So
exactly.
that was my big takeaway. That was my first big takeaway. It was this felt job interview to court
Hmm.
case status. He came prepared and he killed it. So good job there.
Hmm.
The next thing I kind of felt, and I want to make sure that this is kind of worded right. He, I don't think Aaron Rodgers is the victim.
Yeah, he
I,
even
I,
stated
I, yeah, he said he didn't want to seem like the
play the
victim,
yeah,
which,
he didn't want to like play like the victim card, which
yeah, which he's
mhm,
not, and I'm glad that he acknowledged that. The
mhm,
one thing that kind of bugged me is when he came out and they said like, "Oh, what did you kind of get out of all this?" And he said that the media kind of just makes up stories when there's
yeah,
nothing there. And
mhm,
it's like I didn't really hear the media being too wrong
mm,
about certain stuff. Like they came out and they said, "Hey, like he was offered this contract, he was offered this and this, but it's not about the money." He came out and
yeah,
he said, "Yeah, I was offered this. It wasn't about the money." The media came out and said, like, "Hey, the Niners and some other teams have like addressed trying to get him."
mhm,
And then he even came out and when he did his analogy of, you write a great story, you have a great year, and then you go to your boss and they say, "Yeah, we'll talk about an extension later." And then you
yep,
go and say, "Hey,
and
I have
then
a
you
job opportunity somewhere else." And they go, "Oh, we love you. We love you."
mhm,
Like, is that not kind of what the media said? They came out and they said, "Yeah, the Niners are inquiring about him. The Rams are inquiring about him." Like, there's so
yep,
many teams inquiring. Those are other job opportunities. So I don't like the media's making up stuff because don't get me wrong now. Sometimes they do,
oh yeah,
but it just kind of seemed like they nailed this pretty much on the head. Like he was unhappy were not being involved and it was never about money, which they stated.
mhm,
He was There were trade offers, which there was. Like it just kind of seemed like weird to call
mhm.
out.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. I think honestly, my big takeaway was there was a reporter who asked a question and basically was like, is it going to be a distraction when roster changes are made? And people are wondering like, how much of a say did you have into this decision? And Aaron Rodgers replied basically saying that he doesn't expect it to be a distraction because he doesn't expect to be a part of the discussion. And I found that kind of just as a big takeaway because the main thing that I feel like Aaron Rodgers wanted was he wanted to be a part of these, like you said, free agent talks. He's never been a part of them, and he feels like he should be now because of who he is, and rightfully so. And I just felt like that was a big takeaway because it still doesn't necessarily sound like he kind of got what he wanted with the Packers. It sounded more like he wants to retire a Packer and he's gonna give it another chance. But I don't know. It just feels like the way things are set up now. Even Adam Schefter was saying like it's set up to where this could be his last season in the Packers
Yeah.
and basically control his own destiny moving on.
Yeah. No, there's so much. My last
Hmm.
takeaway from this press conference though, Tom Brady has ruined the quarterback position for the rest of NFL history.
Because of his demands and how he gets it all the time.
So stay with me now because
Hmm.
people think I'm crazy. And I know people are always like, "Oh, people are always trying to bring the story into Tom Brady or LeBron James." Like,
Hmm.
no, this is the thing about Tom Brady. Tom Brady left because he was
Yes.
unhappy,
Hmm.
goes to a team because apparently there wasn't a big market for him, right? There was only like three or four teams that really wanted him,
Apparently, yeah.
which is absurd. Goes to a team, doesn't get OTAs, doesn't really get to know anything,
Yeah.
learns this playbook at home, probably over Zoom with BA.
Hmm.
And he was like, "Hey, can we get my buddy Gronk?"
Can we get
And they
Gronk?
went, "Yeah." They
Can
went,
we
"Yep,
can we get a tryout for Antonio Brown and see can we
yeah,
get Antonio Brown on this team?
yeah." And
And
they
they
go,
did
"You have
it.
one more wish left. What do you want?" And he's like, I don't know. Can I maybe not practice certain days? They go, yeah,
They went
whatever
out.
he said. Yeah,
They got Leonard Fournette. I mean, it's not like that was like a big ask by him, but at the time, it was Leonard Fournette. He wasn't a bad running back. He's had his issues, he's had his injuries, but it was
yeah,
still a big signing. Like when that happened, everyone was like, "Really? Like the Bucks got this guy too? Come on
yeah.
now."
No, but so Tom Brady, like, remember Wilson was having issues because the front office didn't want to listen to him.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, all this stuff's going on with Tom Brady, and he's like, "Yeah, no, I need a say."
Hmm.
And they're like, "Okay, okay, yeah, like, go for it."
So you're basically
Rodgers.
saying he's just set a precedent just this past season for the
So
QB position.
so he set that precedent, and
Hmm.
then now you're hearing all over. I saw Marshawn Lynch. He was actually on First Take talking about this. He said, "Is it who won this standoff? Was it
Hmm.
A-Rod or was it the Packers?" And Marshawn Lynch said, "If they don't win a Super Bowl, neither one." Do you know how hard it is to get to a Super Bowl?
Yeah.
Now,
I
forget
mean,
getting to one. Do you know how hard it is to win
to
one?
win. Yeah, well, that's a thing too. This is completely separate, but I remember a thing where Kendrick Perkins was saying it's a lot harder to go back to back and win, or it was just a lot harder to win an NBA champion. It's like it's the hardest one, it's the hardest championship to win, and I completely have to disagree. I think the Super Bowl
Right.
is the hardest championship to win. It's just
Yeah.
it's one game. You have
For each section
so
of the playoffs.
yeah, yeah, for each section of the playoff, one game. You are studying so like obviously each team does this, but you're studying so much film, you can go in and have a bad game and your season's over. In the NBA, you can go in, have a bad game, and then you still have chance to keep going. You know what I mean? You still have if you lose game one, there's three more. You lose the game in the NFL, your season's over. You just a whole waste of a season, it feels like.
If the NBA had or if the NBA had NFL rules, Luka would be further in the playoffs.
Yeah.
The Suns would have won the championship. Like, there's so much, it's
Yeah.
different. But so they were talking and they said if Aaron Rodgers does not win a Super Bowl this year, the Packers lost and A-Rod lost. And it's like, do you know how many great quarterbacks there are that have won one Super Bowl
One
or
Super Bowl,
haven't?
yeah. Yeah.
Drew Brees, Aaron Rodgers, Dan Marino, Ben Roethlisberger. Philip Rivers hasn't even won one.
Yeah.
Like, there are guys that you look at, like when Joe Montana won four, people were like, "That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
That will never be touched." Tom Brady's been to what, 9 or 10? He's been to 10.
Has he been to 10?
He's won
Really?
seven
So it's 9, huh? He lost 2 to
because he
Eli
lost
Manning.
two to the Giants and then he lost to the Eagles.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's right. I forgot about.
Yeah, he's been to 10. And it's like, that's never going to happen again. And
Yeah.
people now are like, "Oh, you can just go to the Super Bowl. You just leave your team and go to the Super Bowl." Like, people are so high on the Rams right now. And it's like, do you know how hard it is to leave an organization you've been a part of for years and go learn an
Hmm. And
entirely
then
new
yeah.
system and get used to all these new receivers and build all this trust and
Hmm.
rhythm and timing? It's so hard. And Tom Brady does it without an OTA, without training camp, at the oldest age ever. And it's like now everyone expects quarterbacks to get at least two, three, four Super Bowls. And it's like
Hmm.
Aaron Rodgers, to be honest with you, I don't see him ever getting to another Super Bowl.
See, I could see him getting to another Super Bowl. I could see him winning one more. Multiple though, I don't know. I just like you said, it's so hard just to get to the Super Bowl in the first place. Like we have Aaron Rodgers on such a high, like
Yeah.
he's like one of the best quarterbacks of all time. And
Yeah.
he's what, been to the Super Bowl once and won it
Yeah.
once? It's crazy. Like especially because like you see things like in the NBA, like, oh, you can't be the best in the NBA and you've never won a championship. And they say it's like it's so different. You know what I mean? Like the leagues are so different. The Super Bowl, it's a lot harder to get to, like you said. And
John Elway won two, and it's like he's probably a top five quarterback of all time. And it's like
hmm
for him to win two, if you win one, it's like great. If you win two, it's, oh my
Russell
God. If you
Wilson
win
has that
four,
one.
yeah, Wilson has one, and he went to a second one, and
Hmm.
he should have two,
And
but he
yeah,
doesn't.
he
That's
just
how hard it is to win it, where you literally are 2 seconds away from winning, and You just can't. Like, it's
Hmm.
so tough. And so, Tom Brady, that is my final takeaway from this. It's, you know, Rodgers is intelligent. He
Hmm.
knows how to articulate what he wants to say, and he does it. He kind of tried to pin the media in a bad light, which, I mean, wasn't
I don't
entirely
think
true.
any athlete really likes the media, anyways. You know what I mean? I wouldn't either. It's
I think Marshawn Lynch does.
yeah, you know,
He
when you
likes
have
toying
fun
with
with
them.
it like that, but it's just the media tends to pin athletes certain ways, though. Sometimes, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like that's why I can understand the hate for the media.
Yeah. And then my last takeaway is really Tom Brady ruined the quarterback position. They expect you now to play like Aaron Rodgers. I wouldn't be shocked if he retires next year.
Really?
But we expect, oh, well, he said he was thinking about retiring this year.
Yeah, true.
And it's like he played 15 years. Oh my goodness. Like, that's insane. Like,
Yeah.
Tom Brady now, they expect you to play until you're 45. They expect you to win in your 40s. They expect
And
you
it's
to take care of your
ridiculous what he's
body.
doing. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
ridiculous
It's,
how he's doing this. So
I'll leave this with you. In the past decade, how many quarterbacks have won multiple Super Bowls? In the past decade,
the past decade,
for the past 10 years, how
no one
many
really, right?
quarterbacks have won multiple Super Bowls?
Just Tom Brady, I think.
Yeah, he's won three.
Yeah. And then I was gonna say
Or
Peyton
he's
Manning, but
been,
no,
I'm
it was
sorry,
just
he's,
the Broncos, and then
yeah,
he won before this decade with the Colts.
yeah, no, I'm sorry. Brady won. Yeah, Brady did won three. Yeah, because Rodgers won once,
Hmm.
Flacco won once, and you got
You
Manning,
got Brady,
then
you got Manning, who's won. Yeah, I
both
think
Mannings.
just about both Mannings. Yeah.
Yeah, it's so hard to not only repeat. I'm not talking go
Hmm.
back to back years. I'm talking just ever go back. And Brady said that after his second one, they didn't go back for a while, and he was like, "I don't like this feeling." Like, it was
Yeah.
a decade until he got to go back.
Hmm.
Like, so, hats off,
But
Tom Brady, GOAT. You just ruined the
hats
position for
off to
everyone
his
else.
father Eli Manning for beating him twice. He went back twice and he beat Tom Brady twice. That's some
I know
goat
he
status right there.
Eli Manning is the definition of going to hell and back.
Oh my
Like,
gosh.
that's and he had the same emotion on his face before the game, during the game, after the game.
And then,
So,
there's those times he just looks lost on the field, but gotta love
yeah.
Eli Manning.
Yeah, no, overall, great press conference. I
Great
think
press
it was
conference.
enlightening. I think it made Aaron Rodgers look better in the public
Hmm.
view and the media view. And then I think his overall respect just shot up. So
Yeah.
that is my opinion and your opinion on that press conference. Before we end the show, just want to ask you, is he going to be in a Packer uniform next year?
Aaron Rodgers?
Yeah.
You know, I he so he kept saying I want to retire a Packer. I just felt like the way he was speaking and just about like, oh, I want to be a part of these free agency discussions. I want to do this, this, and that. It just Aaron Rodgers sounded good. I don't think it made the Packers front office sound good. Will he be in a Packers uniform? I don't think so.
Where do you see him?
Where do I see him? Maybe the Broncos, maybe the 49ers. I mean, he's got, I feel like, a lot more options to choose from than Tom Brady does when Tom Brady went into free agency or, when he wanted out of the Patriots. But yeah, I don't think he'll be back in the Packers uniform.
It's really funny because I was a big Aaron's going to the Broncos. Aaron's going to the Broncos.
Hmm.
That was through trade because I thought
Yeah,
that's where
that's
they could
true.
get the best return. If it's free agency, I can't see him going to the Broncos. Why would you willingly go to a division where
Yeah,
Patrick Mahomes and Justin Herbert are going to run it for a decade?
true, true. And plus, they don't necessarily have the offensive threats that some of these other teams can, offer. Like they got their players that are coming up. What Jerry Judy? They got I
Well,
forget who their tight
Devontae would
end.
go with them.
Yeah, that's true. He probably would follow no matter where he
Yeah,
goes because this is his contract season, right?
yeah. Let's say this. I think Devontae's the guy you want in a fight. He is in your
He's got your
corner.
back. Yeah, I
When there
think
was
they.
talks that they weren't going to
That
or Rodgers didn't want to do another contract. He
mhm.
stopped his contract negotiation.
Yeah. I think
Yeah, and then all of a sudden
they're
Rodgers was
close.
like, "Oh, I'm going to keep talking," and then Devontae
And
was like,
and then
"Okay,
just,
I guess."
okay, let's keep going.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
it's love Devontae, but
Mhm.
like I can't see him going to the Broncos because obviously he doesn't want to be with those two. I can't see him going to the Niners because I think they're going to build around Trey Lance.
You
And
think
not
so?
only
Okay.
that, why do you want to get beat up by that Cardinals defense, Donald, and then that Seahawks defense is always there. So it's like realistically, where do you see him? And then also you start looking at how when you're older, we saw it with JJ Watt and you see it with Tom Brady and everything else.
Mhm.
When you're older, oh, LeBron too, your last team is kind of where you want to retire.
Yeah, true.
Do you want to go retire in, Milwaukee?
I mean, if see, here's the thing. I don't know. It just he seems like he really likes Packers. And do you
Not Milwaukee,
think,
apparently.
yeah, I mean, I guess, but like, do you think that he'd rather just retire after the season? That what you're kind of insinuating, or
I could, if he doesn't retire, I can see two teams, and it's because of football reasons, weather reasons, things that would go well. I can see him retiring,
mm-hmm,
going to the Dolphins,
mm-hmm.
or I've been playing with it. I don't want to fully go into it because I don't know how he would be, but I've been thinking about the Washington football team.
I, I don't know. I could see. Honestly, I thought the Washington football team was gonna try to make a move for a quarterback this offseason. Instead, they went with Ryan Fitzmagic, who's apparently going to be beating Tom Brady.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, honestly, they have a team built for a player like a veteran QB to go in. You know what I mean? They have the great defense where you don't necessarily need the most productive quarterback. You know what I mean? But if Aaron Rodgers does go there, you get people that are going to flock to play with him. I think that's kind of, I don't think it matters where he really goes. Like it obviously does, but if you have like a well-established team like that, because you're going to get players who want to flock to play with that, you know, and they're going to want their ring too.
Yeah.
So I don't think that's a crazy idea. I don't think it'll happen, but honestly, I wouldn't mind it because I like that Washington football team. I don't know what the heck
Yeah.
they're are they even getting a name? I thought they were supposed to have one this season. It doesn't sound like they're
There's supposed
gonna.
to be one next year.
Oh well,
Next year. So
yeah.
we'll
So
we'll see. But yeah,
maybe
I
they'll
mean,
welcome
I
a
see
new team name and new quarterback.
I can see Rodgers cutting that ceremonial red tape and going, "Welcome, we are the Guardians," like
The Guardians.
kind of
Yeah,
like
we didn't
Cleveland.
even talk
But
about that.
yeah, no, it's I see the Dolphins because that division, yes, you have to go against the Bills, but it's like besides
Mm,
that, Belichick isn't going to coach forever. The Jets are the Jets. Like, and it's Florida, you know what I mean? It's good weather. He kind of
yeah.
likes that. I would love if he could go to the Niners. I think that would be his ideal thing. I just don't know if they would go
For
off trade.
him, that'd be good. For me, I'd be pretty upset. I'd be very sad.
I know you would. Yeah. And then Washington, I mean, we all know that he's pretty open about his beliefs. I don't want to
Mhm.
say he's political, but he's 100% comfortable kind of doing that. I mean, I could see him kind of enjoying it up there. So retirement, whether football fits, I mean, Niners would be my go-to. I can't see him fitting there now, especially with the cap space. I
Mhm.
think the Dolphins would be the next best thing.
I mean, the Dolphins were talking about at one point, trying to make a move for Deshaun Watson before all of that happened. So I could see it too.
Yeah. Before we end the episode, congratulations, Tyler McGee, where Zack was wrong. Giannis and the Bucs. That was insane. Congratulations, as
Mm-hmm.
well
Mm-hmm.
as probably
Thank
many
you.
other
Thank you.
predictions because I don't know anything.
This is why we're just
That's what
two
I've gotten.
regular dudes just making picks, and we got no insider knowledge. We just kind of go off of what we feel like.
Yeah, that's why I'm not a 17-year-old foregoing my senior year of high
Yeah,
school
for
making almost $1 million.
$800,000.
Dude, yeah, good luck to you, Quinn, Tom Brady. I love you. I think every other quarterback should hate you for making their job harder. And Aaron Rodgers, I don't care what they say about you, man. These two kids, we love you. That'll conclude this episode of Our Factual Opinion. You can find us on Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon, and Google Podcast as well. Also find us on YouTube. I heard our video editor is great at what he does. Hint, it is Tyler McGee. We'll see you next time, Wednesdays and Fridays, Our Factual Opinion.
Let's go.
Let's go.